Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Feel Good Talk Love 101. I'm your host, Charles Brakely, along with my brother, the host of Love 101, my man Naeem Najib. What's going on, brother? How you doing today? Hold on, I think I got you on mute, man. There you go. There you go. How you
I'm great.
doing?
How are you?
Sorry about that, but I was hearing you in the
No
back.
worries.
I figured I'd cut you off right quick. But hey, man, thanks for thanks for coming on today. Not last notice, but thanks for coming on and rearranging your schedule. I definitely appreciate it. So again, thanks
Yes.
for the special edition of Feel Good Talk Law 101. So we're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna get into some conversation. Again, I'm gonna let Naeem do the talking, but before we do that, I'm gonna go right into our commercial, which is the A game. And we'll be right back. And that is the A game. Again, great for vitality, energy, strength, and libido. And if you want to check that out, give me a call 302-723-2836. Again, 723. I'm sorry, 302-723-2836 to get your A game on. So with that being said, I'm gonna pass it on over to you, Naeem, and what's going on, brother, and what's the topic for tonight?
All right. Well, we are back with our topic that we've been doing for the last couple months, which is let's talk about it. Ask the Love Doctor, aka me, but it's an open conversation about anything y'all want to talk about, love relationship wise. And I don't know if y'all checked out Jamila Choice's show on Sunday. We did a show about violence and domestic violence and abuse. And so, can you still hear me? Am I coming in? All right.
Yes, you are. That was me. I knocked myself off for a second.
Oh,
I'm back. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
back.
Don't abuse yourself, Charles. Don't do it. We were talking about that, and that's a topic I want to continue to bring up because a lot of you who are listening out here wanted a class on it. So Jamila and I are working on that together, working on creating a class, and I look
Mhm.
forward to having something to present to you by next week, by Sunday. I've been working on that, and so
That's gonna be hot.
do
It's
you,
gonna be hot.
do you want to get to some of the comments since we
Yeah.
are
See what we got. Oh,
some
they blowing.
say
Lord have
hello?
mercy. All right, hold on. Wait a minute. All right, we got Izzy Meditate. She says hello. What's going on, Dawn? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Haven't heard you in a while. Haven't heard from you in a while. Izzy's talking to Breon. I guess Breon came in. Yeah, he said, what up? Also, okay, that was two what ups. Okay. We got Tyrone Ricks, Tender Life is tuned in, and they always are tuned in. So thanks, Tyrone. Thanks for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. And Dawn says, hello, Izzy. We also have Tyrone. He says, what up, brother Charles Brakely and the Love Doctor? What's going on, brother? And Will, what's going on, Will? He says, Peoples, what's up? What's going on, brother? So we got everybody tuned in. Thanks for tuning in. And got any comments, let us know. So again, thanks for tuning in to Feel Good Talk Love 101. We definitely appreciate it. All right. Back to you,
Yeah.
Naeem.
Yes. Thank y'all for joining, for listening in. This is our Tuesday edition and clearly outside edition. So I can't.
I see you got the
I
top down, the drop top,
That's right. I got my soundtrack coming by. Well, there it was. You heard it. I can't tell you what's gonna happen out here, but I'm out here enjoying. I was enjoying some sun earlier, and now I'm
Okay.
just outside and enjoying this conversation. So let's talk about the principles of love and fear first, because that's what we got to start off with. So if you could share my screen, please. We already know what's going on over here. We're talking about fear or unhealthy relationships. We're talking about the facts, FACTS, a relationship where you feel afraid, fear, where you feel fear of whatever, fear of expressing yourself, fear of leaving, fear of staying, fear of whatever. And you feel attacked, or you are attacking in that relationship, or there's anger or abuse involved. For the A. For the C, we got conflict. For the T, we got trauma. And for the S, we got separation. And so, do you want to run down the facts of love, Charles?
Oh, yes, indeed. That's what I believe in love. The F stands for freedom. The A is appreciation. C is communication. The T is for trust, and the S is for sincerity. So there it is. It's simple and plain, and breaks it all down and makes it so simple.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because love is simple. All that
Mm-hmm.
other stuff, those Facebook relationship status, it's complicated. It's not really complicated.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. That's what it is. You just
Right.
say it's crazy. It's not complicated. And craziness is based in fear. Insanity and fear, that's they go hand in hand. So look,
True.
whatever y'all want to talk about, please bring up the questions in the comments. And also, if you have anything you want to share, Charles. And is it anybody else in the back right now?
Oh, we got
That
Salima. What's going on, Salima? All
okay,
right. And H2 Love, she's not connected, but she's in the back room, but she's not connected. But shout out to her as well.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. I wanted to, while we're on it, well,
Mm-hmm.
first the assignment from last week. What would you do if you had 24 hours? Remember, anybody got
Right.
any insight
Anybody
on it?
got anything on that? Any what would you do if you had 24 hours to live? What would you do? So I mean, me honestly, man, I try to live my life like that every day. I try to call the loved ones I haven't called in a while. I try to call everybody I can and just let them know I love them and just enjoy every day like it's my last day. You know what I mean? So I try to practice that on a daily basis. Sometimes it works. Sometimes, like I said, it works and sometimes it doesn't. But the thing is, you just have to, live it like it's your last day. Now, I don't mean go broke and start spending all your money and, doing that type of stuff. But I mean, at least, as far as what's important, to me, what's important is our family, man, family, friends. Um, that's the main thing at the end of the day. All that materialistic things and money don't mean nothing. You can't take it with you, but being at peace, with knowing that, you know, you saw that person, you let them know if something did happen to a person and you didn't see them for a while, I mean, you would feel really bad, you know what I mean? As far as not letting them know you love them and, stuff of that nature. So I always, as much as I can, always try to hang with family and friends and let them know just how much I care about them and, you know, things of that nature. So that's really important to me. Everything else is not like all that, doing crazy, whatever. It's not really important to me. So it's really family. I love family and friends. So that's my whole thing.
Yeah, I hear that. And
Hmm.
that's similar to my rule is just
Right.
don't do anything that I would regret or that will keep me up at night.
Hmm.
And if it is something that will keep me up at night, just do it.
Right.
So
Right.
you're like, I really should do this. I really should, I'm thinking about this and so and so. And just do it. So when you want to reach out to something you want to do or write down or what have you, like that's something, if you didn't have another chance to do it,
Hmm.
you have a chance to do it now.
Yeah, because I hear a
And
lot of times. I hear it all the time. People say, "Well, Dawn, I was getting ready to call that person, or I wanted to say something to him. I just never got around to it." And I just try to put everything perspective now and then. Like I said, all the other stuff, all being busy, I just drop. Sometimes I'll drop it and do what I got to do just to, you know, you know, s- go see my loved ones and stuff like that, man. Because at the end of the day, that's all you got. I'm gonna be honest with you. So
yeah, it's those things
yeah,
that money can't buy.
they can't buy. You're right.
I
So.
I think about it like that. It's like,
Mhm.
can you buy another, whatever it is, property, car,
Right.
shoes, phone,
Mhm.
right? But can you buy time? Can you buy love? No.
Mhm.
The time that you have with the people you love, you can't purchase that. You can't go back and do it over again.
Right.
Not, Doctor Strange and the Time Stone. Like you can't go back and
You
do
know,
it over.
you know what though, man? I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think also as you get older and your priorities change and your mind, you start, I guess, acting toward that. Like if you had 24 hours to live, because you start prioritizing things that are very important to you versus those things that you thought were at one point. It's like, man, that's not important. And I'm gonna go ahead. And I think as I got older, I just realized that, you know, certain things I thought was important back then it's really not that important. I really don't care no more about that. So again, like family and friends mean everything to me. So again,
Yeah.
that's what I always that's what I look forward to. So we do got
And
some comments right here if you want to get to them right quick. We
yeah,
got
let's get to
three
it.
of them here. And Izzy says, I love that you're outside. I like that scene too, Izzy. He looks nice and refreshing out there. He looks all nice and cool and chill. And she also says, good question. That's Dawn Lee Tom. And she says that. And she says, I never thought about that. So, wow.
Also, we have in the back, HT says express appreciation for everything and everyone. So
Right.
that's
Not taking
you
nothing for
and your
granted, So,
another thing that she says is, it's good to feel good. So
right.
it's just like that feel good talk. It's good to feel good. So
Hmm.
do the things that you feel good doing.
Hmm.
Express the things you feel good expressing. Listen to the music you feel good listening to it,
Hmm.
and etc. Salima says ditto to what you and Charles said, and I would skydive from a hot air balloon. All right.
Okay, go ahead now.
And
Good luck to you.
yeah. Is that even allowed? But I mean, even better. Like, go out with your boots on. Like, come on, let's
Uh,
go from a hot air balloon. All right, Salima. She says with a snack. Yes, with some plantain chips. Like, oh,
She's doing a commercial for Doritos or something like that. There you go.
That's the ultimate A game commercial right there, right? Out the hot air balloon, A game.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Uh,
hey Dawn, tell us why you never thought about that, Dawn. Like you never heard that question before, because I hear that I heard it a few, a lot in my life. What about if you had 24 hours to live, And I always thought about that. I was like, wow, that's a great question. What would you do? So and it's easy to say that now, but let's just say if someone did tell you that, I wonder how you would react, and what would you really do? You know what I mean? Because you never know. But what I'm saying is, if somebody say, "Okay, today's your last day. You got 24 hours. Let's go." Like that feeling. I don't want to know what it feels like, because I don't want to be that person. I mean, of course, we all will have 24 hours to live eventually, and that'll be it. But we'll get down to that last 24 hours. But at the end of the day, it's like if someone told you that, like straight up, like, boom, this is it, Chuck. You got 24. What you gonna do? Like, how would I react to that? How would I feel? Like, that would be crazy. So, and Dawn says, well, before we get to that, Kendra says, hi, fan. What's going on, Kendra? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. And Dawn says, I never gave it a thought. Now I'm thinking. Okay, cool. Yeah, because like I said, I've heard it, but I've never really, I mean, I thought about it and I'm like, but every time I think about it, as far as each year or as I get older, it changes. So it's like, I don't know, I guess it's where you are at the time in your life, I guess that would dictate, I guess, how you would go about that. And she also says, I learned can't take life for granted. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Don't never take life for granted. So, but you ready to share something, Naeem? Or
yes, before we share my screen, I wanted to introduce and say, and thank you for your comments and everything out here, everybody. Keep them coming. Uh, I'm really thinking about creating this curriculum for a course on abusive relationships and abuse in relationships,
Mhm.
because I got caught up in thinking about how a lot of times we place so much emphasis on the perpetrator and the victim, like we make this relationship, like there's a perpetrator and there's a victim. There's definitely one person who's doing the abusing and one person who's getting abused. And
Right.
while that happens a lot of time, I just wanted to find another way of looking at things, because it's never empowering. This is a principle. It's never empowering to put yourself in a position mentally as a victim, as powerless.
Right.
Even if something happened to you and it didn't kill you,
Hmm.
there is something you can do to empower yourself, to heal, to come to create a new version of yourself, to be
Hmm.
born again, to use that kind of, terminology.
Hmm.
And so I don't really jive with the victim mindset or the victim languaging. I do want to say that there's some responsibility that needs to be taken, though, on
Right.
both sides, but especially for the person who's looking for help from an abuser in a
Hmm.
relationship. And here's what I want you to think about. If let's say, for example, Charles, I was like, listen, I have this there's this there's this fire that, on my stove that
Hmm.
I touched it and it burned me, Charles. I didn't know it was gonna burn me, but it burned me. And so I'm like, I don't know why I did that. So then I come back to you a second time, like, I touched it again, Charles, thinking it wouldn't burn me.
Hmm.
It burned me again, Charles.
Hmm.
It burned. Well, I don't know what. And then you see me with burns and stuff on me, and you're like, Naeem, what happened? I'm like, the fire, it just burned me. And then 7, 8, 9 times later, I'm coming back to you with new burns. You're like, what happened? I'm like, this fire, Charles, I keep touching it, it keeps burning me. I don't understand what's going on. Like
Hmm.
I keep talking to it. The fire keeps telling me it's not gonna burn me again. I keep, believing it, and I just believe that one day it'll cool down and stop burning me. Like, Charles, I don't know what's wrong with this fire. Maybe you could talk to it for me or something.
Hmm.
At this point, I'm coming to you 9, 10 times about the same thing. Fresh burns. Is it really the fire burning me? Or is it me burning myself and using the fire to do it? You
Yep.
follow me?
Yep. That's true. It's
I mean,
you.
the fire,
Right.
the fire is gonna do what the fire is gonna do.
Right.
And I put it in that elemental sense where it's like, okay, a fire. We all know fires are hot, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
duh. But sometimes we stick on this belief that, oh, someone who's doing this abuse, they're gonna change. Just got to give them time. We got to go to counseling. We got to do so
Hmm.
and so. And the question is, what if they don't? How much can you take? How much will you take? And
Right.
at some point, when are you going to take responsibility that, again, we going deep into saying physical abuse. There's so much more that comes before that, but just
Right.
sticking on physical abuse.
Hmm.
They hurt you before. They hurt you many times, and they're hurting you again. And you're still why are you still there? Because you believe that they're not going to hurt you anymore? No, we've established a pattern here.
Hmm.
They hurt you. That's what happens. So when here's them, you come around them, you get hurt. All right? Wow, us.
Hmm.
Right? But that's what happens. So you were trying to get this to do this and that, but this is you, and you are not, unless of course you are, but in most cases you're not. If you are not being forced in some way against your will entirely, like you're incarcerated somewhere or whatnot, and you just with a cellmate or something like that,
Right.
that's abuse. If you are free, then you are also free to go away, to get out of the reach of this here, right? And the more you come back to this, we got to stop looking at this as the perpetrator and know that the reach is only here. As soon as you enter into the scene where it can reach you, who is hitting who is abusing who. You know what's coming. This is coming. You put yourself in range, You made yourself a target and they open fire. That's what they do. So I'm just asking the question. Can we put all the responsibility on the abuser in relationships where the pattern is established that that's what they do? In the
Right.
abusee, again, the bully, the one who's being bullied, etc.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to change that. You're not
That's
going
right.
to change it. And I'm just asking that maybe if you ask yourself this question, would I hurt myself?
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't just take, a hammer or something and start hitting yourself in the head with it.
Right.
But then we put the hammer in the hand of someone else who's known to hit you in the head with it,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a nice heart-to-heart talk with them about hitting us in the head, even though they did it 10 times already. And then we say, but this time they really, really was sorry about it. They really said they're not going to do it anymore. They really said they're going to stop drinking, etc. And you go over there, you get hit in the head. What did you think was going to happen? So all I'm saying is, and all I'm asking is that maybe we could look at it as a way of taking more responsibility and say, well, am I going to continue to use this person to attack myself?
Right.
Am I going to continue to keep using this relationship to hurt myself? And that's the question. And you would never intentionally hurt yourself. So we know there's got to be something happening under the scene, like in the mindset, right? We know this. I know we got some comments coming up, but of
Mm-hmm.
course we're going to talk about how a lot happened in childhood and we reproduce the cycles that we grew up with and the household and etc. I get that, and that's why we need education as to boundaries, as to what you deserve, as to what abuse is and what it isn't, because everybody knows that this here is abuse. Anybody can see that. Any animal can see that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But animals can also detect energy, right, and emotional intent. That's why they say dog smells fear and all that. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
all animals can smell fear, and human beings are also animals, and we can sense it too. So that's why if you are feeling afraid to talk about something with your partner, to bring something up, to deny something that you don't want them to want to happen, or to leave, or to stay, like you're just afraid, there's something there that is not healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and that you got to look at and say, well, why would I stay in a situation where I don't feel safe? There's a lot going on in there, but I want to shift the attention away from the person doing the abuse to the person that's allowing themselves to be abused, and say, when are you going to take responsibility for that? Because you are not a victim.
Right.
You're not. You have the choice to change your mind about things, to just change your mind. So you know what? Enough is enough. They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop trying to control me. They're not going to stop invading my privacy. They're not going to stop questioning me about everything. They're not going to stop being insecure and fearful. They're not going to stop. But who can stop exposing themselves to this type of treatment? I can. The question is, what will you do? What will you do? Let's go to the comments, because I know we got some stuff here people are talking about.
I'll let you go
Hello,
ahead and
everyone.
close off, man.
All right, so please let me know, Lakia. I'm not sure how to say the name, but
Yeah, that sounds.
hello, everyone. Hello.
What's going on, Lakia? Thanks for tuning in. And
Izzy says, go for it. It's much needed. People are part of abusive relationships and absolutely have no clue. No clue. Absolutely, you're right.
mm-hmm.
And hello, Donna Hollis. Izzy's talking to Donna. Jamila says, real talk.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn says, I have tried to help a friend in that position and she kept getting mad at me, so I left it alone. She has to be ready to leave. I know, said, then done. I'm not sure,
Probably meant
exactly
to say
sure.
easier
Right.
said than done.
Right. Easier said than done. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to saying ready to leave an abusive situation is kind of a real gentle way of saying it. It's more like has to be willing to leave. has to be ready and willing, because no one's really ready to leave something that's comfortable and familiar to them. But sometimes it has to be a major push, a major reality check. Like, wow,
Right.
I'm putting my children in danger being in this situation. I don't want them to get hurt. You don't care about yourself as much, but then you see like, oh, this person likes breaking things and throwing things, and my child was right there, and they threw
Mm-hmm.
some glass bowl or something, could have killed them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, okay, well, yeah, I have to, the readiness it's more about willingness. You have to be willing that whatever it is. This may be the hardest choice I had to make, but I'm gonna make it, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go.
Yep.
And then let's go to the next topic. Comment. Dawn says, hurt people hurt people. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And let me also say that the person that is being abused and hurt people, who is a person? Not just somebody outside of you, you're a person. So if I'm in a relationship where, let's just say there's this, just to say this disembodied hand that's over here doing this. Like, you don't know, like, I know you could tell it's my arm, but let's just say you can't tell. And it's doing this. It's just doing this. It's just slapping and hitting. And I'm like, hey everybody, feel good talk, Naeem Najib. Then I'm over here talking about, oh, what's that? Interesting. Let me just go over here. Oh, 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 oh.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm just go try to scan. Oh, 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 okay. Actually, guys, I'm gonna just give it one more chance, because this time, listen, this don't do that anymore. I'm gonna come back. This time we're gonna work it out, and we'll be okay, right? Okay. Oh, oh, oh no, no, it did it again, guys.
Right.
Guys, I'm a victim, guys. It keeps doing it to me. I don't know, guys. It just keeps hitting me. Like, is it hitting you? Is it hitting me? Or am I putting myself in a position to be hit?
Right.
So who's hitting who? I'm hitting myself with this, because I'm putting myself in a position to be hit. You see what it does. You see that it's not gonna stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going over here talking about, just stop. Oh no, no, no. So again, let's tell the truth about things.
Mm-hmm.
Are we really victims?
Mm-hmm.
And or are we, again, a person who's hurting ourselves? Hurt people hurt people. Sometimes we hurt ourselves. I mean, we can be dramatic and say, some people self-mutilate and stuff like that. But just because, again, the weapon is in someone else's hand, but you know that they're gonna use it against you, how is that not still self-mutilation if
Right.
they're gonna use it?
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of like suicide by cop and stuff? Like how people, they run around, act like they have a gun, or make a sudden movement so that the cops can shoot them, things like that, intentionally. Like they do that because they know that that's going to be the response. And so the officer's not going to be liable, because you can see, like, they ran up and said, I got a gun, I'm going to shoot you and whatnot. And you know how that's going to end up. So if again, you rationally know that this is what happens, but emotionally we tell ourselves a story, or we excuse it. We allow it. We just say, we condone it. We say, no, they're gonna change. It's gonna be different. No, let me just say no. So Salima says, I read that the extent that you allow someone to abuse you is not as great as the abuse you would do to yourself. And i.e., no one can abuse you greater than you can abuse yourself. Well, that's a good point, Salima. Just looking at how we talk to ourselves sometimes, right? We like, oh man, I forgot my keys. Oh, you stupid. You forgetful. You so dumb. Why'd you do that? You forgot my keys. The stuff that we say to ourselves. If someone opened their mouth and said that to you, like Charles, what happened? You're like, oh, I forgot my keys. Like, Charles, you stupid. You're dumb. You're forgetful. Why are you such an idiot? Why you forget your keys? You're like, whoa, why are you talking to me like that? Right? But we say the same stuff to ourselves about little stuff like that, And so you have a point, Salima. We got to stop attacking ourselves and stop using other people in relationships to attack us. Oh, look, Kia says, are there more than one type of abuse? Absolutely. There's, of course, physical abuse. I've just been beating the heck out of that example. Physical. emotional, verbal, psychological, mental. You know, someone trying to guilt trip you, trying to tell you your shame you, your body image, your try to make you dependent on them financially, etc. Try to control your finances, use your finances without your consent, financial abuse. There's um, just subtle abuse like disregard, like I said before, using somebody's car and bringing the car back with no gas in the tank, stuff like that. It's abusive. Just calling people only when you need something. The way we abuse our friends and family and business, like, oh, you opening a new, you selling A game, Charles? Yeah, let me get a free sample. And how was it? Oh, I loved it. Let me get another free sample though. How was it that time? Even better. Can I get another couple free samples? And then can I get some free samples for some people I know that wanted some samples, who also are me, though, by the way. That's also abuse. So there's so many different kinds of abuse, and it leads, you don't just have someone, in a relationship with the physical abuse without the other types of abuse being present in some way, shape, or form. Tracking, spying, digital spying, people looking at your posts and who you're following on Instagram and Facebook, and reaching out to other people in your life and saying, oh no, don't talk to them anymore, you can't talk to, that sort of thing. Answering your phone for you, looking at your phone, demand. I'm going to make a special section about these phones, y'all, because we think that it's okay. It's become popular culture to ask somebody to see their phone, and or to demand it. Asking is fine, but demanding it and expecting that they have to give you their phone and let you see it just because you're in some kind of relationship with them is insane. All right. Not only is it insane, it's a federal crime to go sneaking and spying at somebody's phone without their permission. Because it's not just a phone, y'all. It's a mini computer. It's a archive of their personal information. It's an invasion of privacy. You're like, well, I feel justified. I just wanted to verify. If you have to verify or confirm something, here's the question I want you to ask yourself. Do I want to be in the kind of relationship with someone that I deep down know I don't trust? Someone that I'm suspicious of? Someone that I feel is deceiving me? Someone that I really believe is uh, being deceitful or dishonoring an agreement we made, and is a liar and a cheat and a thief and all these other things? Why do you need confirmation about that? Why do you need to know for sure via some evidence? That feeling enough is not healthy. To hold that thought in your head about someone and to sleep next to them or be in an intimate relationship with them, it's different if y'all are like distant acquaintances or something, like, oh, I really don't trust that person in Congress, to have my best interests at heart. That's different than someone that you call yourself being in a close, intimate circle or relationship with. The question is on you. Are you going to continue to allow yourself to be in a relationship with someone that you feel that way about? Because once you feel that way and you're looking for evidence, there's nothing that can really dissuade you from your belief, because you believe that they're that person. So even if the evidence that you put up, that you find, is not really evidence of anything, or they're not doing anything that you think they're doing, you're like, I know there's something in here somewhere. Scrolling through they're chatting with this person, talking about give me another A game. I need to buy a few more samples. Why they need so many samples of A game, Charles? How come they need so many? You know, I don't understand. Why they buying so many? It's gotta be something going on there. What is this about, studying and, training and a study group and a prayer circle they're doing. Prayer circle, I know other things that are shaped like circles. This must be code for something. Prayer must be code for something. Circle must be code for something. What are they doing in that prayer circle, Charles? It doesn't matter what you find. You're gonna find a way to make yourself feel
That's
even more
right.
different.
That's when your mind just start playing all kinds of psychological games with you.
Exactly. So let's let's go to so I hope that answered your question, Lakia. Izzy says it's a crazy cycle of fear, which is not a part of universal principles of love. Talking about that, that hurt. people in that insane cycle. Yeah, I appreciate it. And Dawn, yes, hurt people, and they may not even realize they're causing hurt. And they may believe also that love is painful, right? That if you love me, you'll stay with me even though I hurt you, because that's what love does. Love is, it stays, it endures, and all that stuff, right? So what else we got here? Absolutely Izzy. So Dawn and Izzy. And Kendra says, abusive or not, people stay because leaving feels like failure, concerns about what others will say, and fear of the unknown, meaning starting over. Right about that too, Kendra, because we do concern ourselves a lot with what's not our business, as in what other people think about what you're doing. It's not your business what other people think about you or your relationship. But yeah, and then it's like, and that's another myth that we have, is that because we're in a relationship, particularly a romantic one or what have you, that because it's not working out and we, having issues, that there's that you failed, or that, oh, I haven't been in a long-term relationship, or my longest relationship was only a couple years or months or whatever. Actually, y'all, it's normal to have relationships that don't last very long, and not all people in your life are going to be lifelong partners. That's just natural. Congratulations, you're normal. You're having a normal human experience, which is you have time that you connect with people, and sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want it, and sometimes you're prepared to separate. You come together, separate it, and it happens. And you got to redefine what you believe failure is and success. Because if success is just a healthy relationship based on those principles of love, trust, and what have you, then the failure would be, even if I was in a relationship, you were in a relationship for 2 days where you feel fear, attack, conflict, trauma, drama, arguments. That's failure. That's a problem. You know, it's not about time, how long I've been able to stay in this relationship. I mean, we know people, we all know about people who are hoarders and such, and they hold on to stuff that has no more use, and it may be a freaking sweet potato sitting in the refrigerator just rotting and stuff. And you're like, when you gonna, like, I don't know, maybe I could eat it one day, make some sweet potato puree. It's like that was 5 months
Flowers coming
ago.
out of it and everything.
Exactly. It's making you could, yeah, I could make some compost out of it, and like, but it's got mold on it. Oh, I could study it and maybe send it to the University of Michigan. They might be doing a study on cultures and such. Just holding on to it. So we the same way with relationships. Hold on to stuff that is no longer serving us. So yes, A game, LOL, Jamila says. And Izzy says, let's talk about the law of detachment when it comes to abusive relationships. Can a person apply this law? Absolutely. What is the law of detachment? So, being detached, meaning, let's use some other words that help us understand this. So, when you're detached from something, it's not so much that you don't care, but that it's okay either way. Like you're okay if this relationship works out, you're okay if it doesn't. Like, say, oh, let's go to the movies. What do you want to see? Like, do you want to see this new action movie? Sure, it's okay. Or do you want to see something else? It's okay too. It's okay if we don't see that. It's okay if we see it another time. I'm not attached to the outcome. So the law of detachment, as I'm interpreting it, unless you want to put some more words to it, Izzy, is you're not attached to a specific outcome, because what Kendra was explaining, like people being concerned with failure and what others say, you're attached to, oh, this relationship's got to work out, we got to be together forever. Or for example, people have to look at our Instagram photos and like them and know that we're happy because they see us smiling and stuff. You're attached to this image. You're attached to what other people think. Being detached means I'm not concerned with that. I'm not concerned with a specific outcome of what happens here, which means you're more connected to content of universal principles than the form of what happens. So what I mean is the appreciation, the freedom, the trust. That's what you want. And that's something that you can be that you would want in every relationship. But if it's not, but it's okay. I can have communication with you, Charles, and it's okay if we communicate over Feel Good Talk, Facebook Live, or over the phone or in person. It's still communication. Rather than like, no, we have to do Feel Good Talk every Wednesday at 7. And this is a good example. Today is Tuesday, right? It's not about the time and date. It's about being on here and sharing and having a conversation. And
Right.
those who are available to have it, we have it. And those who are not, you can see the replay or you don't have to join at all. It's okay either way.
Mhm.
That's detachment. So when it comes to abusive relationships, all relationships you should be detached from, actually, because that's what makes it a healthy relationship. I'm not attached to you showing up a specific way for me. I'm not attached to that, because if I was, then my expectation alone is attachment. It's like I'm calling you, oh, only when I get, oh, Charles, what's going on? I know you ain't hear from me in 2 weeks, but yeah, what's going on, man? Can I get an A game? You like, nah, I gave you 10 samples already. It's like, all right, well, I'll talk to you later. Bye. It's like all
Right.
I'm calling for is something that I want.
Mm.
That's a attachment to an outcome. That's an abusive relationship. I don't care about Charles in that example. I care about the connect to free A game,
Right.
right? And I think I said A game enough times in this session that it should be enough for another commercial, right? Unless you want to go to a commercial break right now, we can do that.
Well, you know, we could. We go to a commercial break. We'll come right back. And since you've been talking about it, here it is, the A game. Hey, we got Izzy. She says, perfect explanation of law of detachment. So she was definitely
Thank you,
pleased on
Izzy.
how you broke it down, Naeem. Yep.
All right. I want to share something else. Is there any more comments at this point?
No, not right now. Nope.
All right, then in the meantime, I want to share something with you from this book. Where the heck is it? I don't be knowing where I put. Oh, here it is. This book. This is my book about abusive relationships, Cult 101, a guide to understanding cult mindset and behavior. And
You
it's
prefer
a
that?
perfect book for abusive relationships and or abuse in relationships. And I want to talk a little bit about how to get yourself out of one. And so talking about that law of detachment more, let's talk about the practical knowledge for it. So can you share my screen? I'm just going to do a little reading here. So there are 2 ways to escape. Let me start from the top of this. And also any comments or questions, this is what's on my mind. So this is what I'm sharing today. We're talking about escaping an abusive relationship. So every time you see cult, just substitute abusive relationship. So it's about deprogramming yourself. As you've learned if you learned anything thus far, you've learned that a cult is simply an abusive relationship. An abusive relationship with some fanatical, toxic, addictive, and controlling patterns, but an abusive relationship nonetheless. But what's the good news? The good news is that there are ways to heal and separate yourself from any abusive relationship. The difference with cults is that it takes a lot of willingness and a little extra help to extract yourself totally. To give yourself a better picture, if there were a spectrum for abusive relationships for 1 to 10, 1 being slightly abusive, and 10 being fatally abusive, a cult would land between 9 and 10. And that's what we were talking about on Jamila's show Sunday, about the show dedicated to China and etc. So why? Because in the cult, the destructive programming is so thoroughly instilled in a cult devotee. That's the person that's being abused. That you cannot tell them that they're not in an abusive relationship. So if you've taken the assessment and you answered yes multiple times, but you still deny being in or having ever been in a cult, you have the mindset of a classic abusee. And that brings us to the question. How can you help someone realize they're in an abusive relationship? That's the question. And that's what we've been doing the whole time. What's that? Educating you. That's the purpose of the whole guide, to help you come to terms with the reality of two things. One, you either have been in an abusive relationship or you are still in an abusive relationship. That is something you must come to terms with if you're going to benefit from the remainder of this lesson. So, why are we so sure you've been in an abusive relationship? Because being in an abusive relationship is the result of being programmed, and everyone on earth has been programmed. So, whether you've been in an abusive relationship for a month, a year, for the majority of your life, you've been in an abusive relationship. Get over it and then get out of it. But how though? Now you're on to something. That's the question we will address in the next section. If you have escaped an abusive relationship already, congratulations. That is no small feat. In the next session, we'll remind you of the road you took to freedom. Why? Because there are only two roads to escape. Which one will you take? So, what are the two roads to escape? It's the easy way or the hard way. So, if you think now, there are only two ways to escape an abusive relationship. And if you think one of those ways is just getting up and walking out the door, you're wrong. Removing your body from the toxic environment of a relationship has 0% to do with escaping a cult or abusive relationship. Remember, cults in abusive relationships are mindsets. Devotees, abusees of abusive relationships are mentally trapped. Very rarely are they physically trapped, meaning imprisoned, like chained and imprisoned. And even in those cases, if they don't want to be physically freed, they will simply find their way back to the cult or abusive relationship first chance they get. You could bust down the door, tell them, "Oh, I got you. I'm gonna save you." Take off the chains, throw them over your shoulder, run away, put them in a shelter, help them, give them food, drink. Oh, therapy. And then as soon as they get you out the room, they going right back over there. Trust me. Therefore, removing yourself from an abusive relationship has 0% of what you do physically and 100% with what you decide mentally, meaning the decision you make in your mind. And what decision is that? Well, decision looks something like this. Here's a decision to be free of an abusive relationship. That's enough. There has to be a better way. That's it, everybody. Screenshot it. That's enough. That's it. There has to be a better way. From that undivided decision, freedom is certain. Next comes the action. You're probably wondering, well, what about the two ways of escape you mentioned at the beginning of the lesson? How is that? How is making a decision escape? Well, that's a good principle, a good question, but remember this principle. Escape is freedom, and freedom is of the mind and not of the body. The mental escape we're talking about is your undivided decision to be free. Here's the decision. That's enough. There has to be a better way. Until you make that decision, your mind will remain enslaved by fear, and you, and most likely your body, will remain in that abusive relationship. There are only two ways to end up at that decision, though. What are the two ways? One is acting on the knowledge and awareness of the situation. This is an abusive relationship. All right, I'm not going to continue abusing myself in this relationship. I got to go. That's the easy way. So, realization you come to, like eureka, boom. Acting on knowledge, that's the easy way. Or reaching your limit through unbearable pain. That's the second way, that's the hard way. So let's start with the easy way, the first way. The easy way is acting on knowledge. Have you ever heard the saying, if you knew better, you do better? Yeah, we've all heard this. Well, that's not true. If it were true, why would you do things that you know are not good for you? AKA Baskin Robbins, Dunkin' Donuts, going up in there and getting stuff you shouldn't eating. Like you know, but we know that we do things that's not good for us all the time. That's like a little practical example, but I mean, for real, eating that stuff is not good for you. Even if you cheat and do it once in a while, even though once in a while you do it, it's not good for you. So you don't even have to be addicted, but it's like I only have one, you know, hit of poison every 6 months. But what did you wait? One hit of what? Just a little poison. Just once every 6 months I have it. But what are you taking again? It's just a little poison. Little what? Little poison. So when did it stop being poison? Just because you don't take it every day? Just because it's once every 6 months, little hit of poison, it's still poison, right? Again, I'm just saying that to establish that we're all the same. We all do this to ourselves. So come on, just don't be hard on yourself, everybody. We're innocent. We're innocent. I'm just dispelling the myth that when you say, oh, if you knew better, you do better. No, 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 because that's what the cognitive dissonance, like, well, they know that this person is no good. Why are they still there? They know that mentally, yes, but emotionally they're stuck. And they're also mentally indoctrinated in prison too. That's why they're still there. So knowing is not enough if you don't act on what you know. This entire lesson is aiming at giving you knowledge or full awareness about abusive relationships. Why? For you to then act by making the decision that you're done being a blind abusee of one forever. And as difficult as it may be to make that decision and act on it, rest assured that the second way, the hard way to freedom, is 1,000 times harder. And there's something else you should know. What's that? Of the two roads to freedom, guess which one is far more popular? The second one. Unbearable pain. That's the most popular one. Reaching your pain threshold. Remember, an abusive relationship, a cult's abusive relationship, whether the abuse is mental, verbal, emotional, sexual, financial, physical, it's all abuse. It's all toxic, it's all unhealthy, and it's all leads to pain and trauma. And pain can be a very effective teacher. Not going to take nothing away from that. But pain is a very cruel teacher, y'all, and a very unnecessary teacher. You don't need pain. It's a good teacher, but you don't need it. That's like saying, hey, Charles, what does it feel like to be stabbed in the back? You're like, oh, it hurts. It's like, really? Like, yeah. I don't know how much. You take a knife, stab you in the back. Ah, okay. Now you know. But you didn't have to go through that to figure out that it hurts. So, with that said, it's still the most popular option for those who refuse to think and make decisions for themselves. Just like abuse, pain is experienced in many different ways. Mental pain, which is no peace, energy drain, exhaustion from energy vampires, emotional pain, trauma, stress, distress, financial pain, physical hurt and pain. Here's the thing about pain and why it's such a great teacher. Everyone has a pain threshold, meaning a point where they can no longer bear the pain of a situation. And herein lies your second route of escape, your pain threshold, the point at which the pain is so unbearable that you will do whatever it takes to change your situation. Anyone can handle a certain amount of pain and abuse for a certain amount of time, but there comes a moment where it just becomes too much to bear. A moment when the pain you're feeling pushes you to the point where you realize, I deserve better. This is not okay. Enough is enough. There has to be a better way. Alas, the second way. And which kind of is the first way, it just took you a painful way to get there, making that decision, right? And although you've known it before, the difference is now you're willing to do something to change it permanently. You're willing to find a better way. You're willing to ask for help and eventually actually receive it. And you're willing to remove yourself from that relationship forever, no matter what it takes. And this is what we call the moment, because all of this comes down to one moment. What else? I mean, what does? Your decision to be done with abuse and move on. Let's take a deeper look at the moment. The moment is the moment when you decide, never again. I've had enough. I deserve better. Whatever it takes. I'm done with this. It's time to go. F this. Whatever you got to say to yourself. That's the moment. Sound familiar? In conclusion, we covered the easy way and the hard way. The easy way is learning, like we're all learning now, and acting on what you learned. The hard way is banging your head against the wall, the relationship, until you reach a point, you reach your pain threshold and almost knock yourself out. Or knock yourself out and wake up and like, well, how the heck did I get knocked out? Oh, because you were banging your head up against the wall. That's why. Which way will you take? Well, which way have you taken? Once again, the goal of this lesson is for you to take the easy way out. The hard way wastes a lot of time, and some don't get out of the hard way alive. That's real. Don't let it be you. Let's summarize with the following clarity chart. Will you read this with me, Charles?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'll read the hard way about coming to the moment of decision where that's enough. So the hard way of reaching the pain threshold wastes a lot of time.
The easy way saves you time.
And the hard way, pain is your teacher.
The easy way, I forgot to read knowledge and action. Common sense is your teacher.
The hard way, reaching your pain threshold, will hurt a lot more.
Will hurt less or be painless. That's the
The
easy
hard
way.
way is yes, and the hard way is dangerous. There's a very real possibility that you will be injured or killed in the process.
The easy way is safe. It will not kill you. Your life will not be on the line to take the easy way.
The easy way is unnecessary and the absolute last option.
The easy way is the first option as well as the most efficient option.
In the hard way, pain threshold, you are not in your power because you have been forced into the moment by pain, not by your own choice.
The easy way, you are in your power because you have come to the moment freely with a clear mind and without oh good go on. Cole, come on, help
Coercion,
our current song. How you say that?
coercion,
Coercion.
coercion. Yeah,
You got me on that one. Coercion. Okay, I never said that's first. I mean, hey, it is what it is.
yeah. And the hard way is hard.
Yes.
AF. Oh, your
Oh,
turn.
the hard way. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. The
it's hard.
easy way is easy. There you go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's basic. So clear. Now that we're at the point where you're ready to escape, let's take a look at some practical tools you can use to support yourself in the recovery process. So then we talk about the recovery process and so on and
Right.
so forth. But I just wanted to share that with everyone just to give you an idea of what we're looking at when you're escaping an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Those are the principles.
Hey man, that was awesome, man. We got some comments, so we get right to
Okay.
those right quick. See what's going down. And Dreddy Girl, she says, thanks to you both. As always, appreciate the truth telling. Really helpful and clear. Thinking how willingness to participate the facts of love in our relationships with ourselves might provide the necessary mindset and first steps to get out of abusive relationships. So
Absolutely.
awesome, Dreddy.
Loving yourself
Appreciate it.
first, right?
Yes, indeed.
Loving
Got
yourself
you,
first.
brother. And Dawn says, thank you for your helpful information. Really appreciate it. And Izzy, almost like a Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. And for those who are not familiar with Stockholm syndrome, it's pretty much um, saying that hey, they only beat me up twice today,
Right.
but normally they beat me up 5 times a day. So today's been a good day. It's like, okay, so they only what? They only hurt you two times today, but normally they hurt you 5 times. So you feel like they're being nice to you. You feel like they're being loving and caring and gentle with you, and because that's
Right.
Stockholm syndrome. It's the belief where you sympathize, in some cases even protect your abuser or the abuser in the relationship because you don't realize that you're being abused. Because how many times of being attacked and hurt is too many? Once. All right. Don't think too hard about that. Once is too many. Okay. And that's where we're going to talk about in the course about boundaries. And I realize that there's some universal boundaries that some people are simply not aware of,
Right.
meaning what you deserve. I'm not saying you're always going to get it, but you deserve. Like just like everyone deserves to be fed and clothed and whatnot. Doesn't mean that we don't have homelessness and starvation on this planet, but every human being deserves a home, a place to call their own, deserves to be taken care of when they're sick, not have to be charged $999,000, for an ambulance ride and stuff. Every
Right.
human being deserves to to have food and to have a full stomach. We deserve that. Not saying that's what you're going to get, but there's some things you need to know because if you are in a situation where you don't know you deserve to be spoken to respectfully, where you deserve not to be shamed, then when someone shames you, you're like, well, I guess I deserve it. Oh, you're ugly, you're stupid. It's like, well, I guess I haven't really, you know, been taking so much good care of myself since COVID, and I did make some bad decisions, so maybe I am stupid. It's like, no, no, no. It doesn't matter what decisions you made. It doesn't
Right.
matter how you look, how you feel about yourself. You don't deserve to be spoken to that way. You don't deserve to be called anything but self-affirming, affirming, appreciative uh, expressions. That's what you deserve. But now the question is, knowing that we're not always going to get what we deserve, what are you going to accept? So someone's every day saying, "Oh, you're stupid, you're dumb," or how about this? The even more subtle abuses of boundaries. When someone says, I'm only yelling at you and angry and I'm hostile because you make me this way, you get me this way, you push my buttons, it's your fault." See that whole flipping the script, gaslighting, attacking, like making it the guilt trip. That is also, you don't deserve that, and it's not true either. You look at some of my other books, you'll get all of the lessons in how emotional abuse, guilt attack, somebody trying to make you feel a certain way, like all of that stuff is nonsense. Like no one can really make you feel guilty or cause you to get angry and attack them. Like, it's your fault. I went off the rails and did this. It's your fault. I called you those names. No, it's not. It's your fault. The one who said it, because you have control over your mouth, and you could have been as mad as a mad dog, and you still could have shut your mouth, kept your mouth shut.
Right.
And how do we know that it's possible? Because I'm like, all right. Someone says, all right, your partner gets you upset. I'm putting all this in air quotes because it's nonsense. They get you upset, and when you get upset, you let's just say do something abusive, fill in the blanks. Now, no, let's just verbally start just going off, attacking, cursing them out, everything. If I said, all right, next time they get upset with you, let me know. And I'm gonna, let's say at that point, like, oh, I'm upset, I'm mad, I'm about to go off on them. I'm like, all right, now I'm gonna send somebody over to put a gun to your head and threaten your life and tell you, if you say one word, they're gonna pull a trigger. I wonder if you would still say a word. And I'm only using such a dramatic example because we know that you can control your mouth. All right, you can't say oh, I had to say it or I had to do it. No, you're fooling yourself. You're disempowering yourself. You're tricking yourself into believing that you don't have the power over your own mouth, over your own body. You do. We all do. And so don't accept that from someone else who says, well, I was upset. I did it because I was angry. I did it because, you got me this way. No, that's just a lie, and it's a cop out. It's a cowardly move to disguise emotional immaturity and emotional irresponsibility. So don't accept it from anybody, including yourself, Naeem, and everybody else. Just because you're upset, just because you feel like you got to read somebody to riot act, it doesn't mean you have to. It just means you really, really, really want to because you're angry and you really, really want to say something. You don't have to, though. And nothing good comes of approaching a situation in anger. Just say that.
Hey man, awesome topic, man. I learn every time I come on here, including the spelling bee. I'm gonna have to get that word. Oh, that was funny. But
Not
anyway,
endorsing you, Charles.
yeah, it's all good, man. Hey, listen, man. Check this out. Y'all, you can find us on Feel Good Talk on LinkedIn at Feel Good Talk, also at Facebook at Feel Good Talk, on YouTube at FGT Mind, Body, Soul, and Business, and on Instagram at Feel.Good Talk. So we're all over the place. Definitely check us out. And Naeem, let them know where they can get your books at, brother. All your books.
Okay, you can get them on the Amazonicals. It's on Amazon, and just type in my name. Go ahead and share my screen if you
Yes,
will.
sir.
And here on Amazon, you see some of the books that I've written. Communication is not a game. I'm made for heart-based communication. There's a lot of good stuff up in here, and we're coming out with what's it called? A course on how to detect, deter, and protect yourself from emotional abuse, from abuse. Period, not just emotion, from abuse. And the question under that is, who's the victim? Because it sure ain't you, all right? Because gonna blow your mind, flip the script. Like, listen, you are powerful, you are empowered. You're gonna have this knowledge to empower you, and your actions to really put to really bring that power to life in your life and relationship, giving you practical tools that you can use, ways to protect your boundaries, because boundaries mean nothing if you don't protect them, if you don't enforce them, right? You could say, don't pass this line, and then somebody just steps over the line. Like, okay, what? All right, you take a step back. Don't pass this line. They just step over it. You're like, well, take 2 steps back. Don't pass this line or that line. They just walk over and like, what? What you gonna do? It's like, you gotta push back. You gotta let them know, if you step over this line, there's gonna be consequences. Even if that consequence is just, you don't get to interact with me in this way anymore.
Right.
I am not going to sit here and receive being called outside of my name. I'm not going to respond to demands. No, you cannot see my phone. I am not telling you where I've been or what I've been doing. It's not your business. You know, I don't want to. How about that? Just, I don't want to. Oh, we're married. I want to have sex. I don't want to. That's an actual legitimate thing you can do and say. You don't have to do it, even if you're married, right? Even if you're with someone and y'all have been doing it 1,001 times. You don't have to if you don't want to. So anyway, all of that's going to be available, and we're going to have more details on Sunday. So
I can't wait, man. It's gonna be awesome, man. Definitely. And Izzy says, yes, awesome info. So we definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in and joining us tonight, even though it's, like I said, it's Tuesday instead of Wednesday. But again, thanks for the response. We got an overwhelming response. We definitely appreciate y'all. So
yes.
yep. And Dawn says, she says, awesomely teacher. All right, there you go. And she says she must say awesome.
I like awesomely too.
Yeah, right. She throwing some words out there too. Okay, go ahead, Dawn. I see you. All right, any last words before we get out here, Naeem?
That's it for me. Just thank y'all for joining. And
hey, yeah, definitely. Hey, thanks for joining again. Catch us on Wednesday. We'll be back next Wednesday, the regular time, 7 p.m. right here on Feel Good Talk, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. Again, catch us Feel Good Talk Love 101. Me and Naeem Najee. Well, I guess I gotta say my name, Charles Brakely. It sounds crazy, Charles Brakely and Naeem Najee. And check us out next Wednesday at 7 p.m. right here on Feel Good Talk, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. So we'll see you next week. Wednesday at 7 o'clock. All right. Peace.
Peace.